It is National Police Week. Speaker Kevin McCarthy spent this morning honoring the fallen. Moments ago, he laid a wreath at the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington and met with police there. Joining me right now, Patrick Yoes, National President for the Fraternal Order of Police. So good to have you with us. Thank you for your service, sir. I know that this Saturday there is a candlelight vigil, the 35th annual, which will be held at the same memorial, recognizing officers killed in the line of duty. Has that number gone up?
Well, COVID has had a profound impact. We're going to, this is actually a week of events. There are a number of events. A candlelight vigil on Saturday. On Monday is the National Peace Officers Memorial Service. We'll be honoring 443 names, law enforcement officers who did not return home to their families.
You know, I think that it's staggering to think of how our communities have been ravaged. But police officers, they have a unique task, and it's a harder job, it seems, than it ever has been. Recruiting has been impacted. In Cleveland, Ohio, I know the police academy only had 9 recruits this year. It's historic. So what needs to be done?
Look, that's a challenge every agency across this country is dealing with. You look at this path we've taken for the last few years, and it has really taken its toll on not only law enforcement officers, but the next wave of law enforcement officers. We're seeing people leave our profession at a rate that we've not seen before. At the same time, we're not seeing the next wave of the best and brightest stepping up in numbers that helps us sustain a good police force. I think there are 2 things that every profession wants in life. Every worker, they want to know what they're doing is important. And they want to know that they're appreciated in doing it. And I think what we're missing right now for law enforcement across this country is those 2 questions that I'd answer. Our greatest recruiters are those who serve in law enforcement. And I think the environment that has been created over these last 3 years with the demonization of our profession has really taken its toll. We're coming on the other side of that, but it doesn't mean that we don't have the residuals for that, for this damage. And it's not something that's going to correct itself overnight. We need that next wave of law enforcement to help us define the future of law enforcement.
Well, we need a new perspective. I'm a journalist who's been in the business for nearly 2 decades, and I remember when it became politically incorrect to say anything honorable in a lot of places and a lot of spaces. But we can hold police departments accountable and yet still honor the men and women who put their lives on the line every day. What do we need to do as a community to show that these 2 things are not mutually exclusive?
So I'm going to totally agree with what you're saying. Look, the very powers that law enforcement officers have, the powers that we possess, are directly related to trust within our communities. And so it's incumbent upon all of us, every stakeholder within a community, to be part of a solution in holding law enforcement accountable, but the entire system. And so the very first thing has to happen in every community across this country. We need to have these meaningful discussions on how we improve the criminal justice system. At the same time, not laying everything at the feet of law enforcement, because there are a lot of different elements that provide equality and safety within a community. And law enforcement is just one aspect of it. And when we all work together, you look across this country, communities where everyone is united and working together towards that common goal, they have safer communities. Where they're not working together, we see this disconnect and we see crime rising to levels that we've never seen before.
Well, there's so much finger pointing now. And I know that you and I could probably talk here for another hour on one of the most public yet hidden secrets, that a lot of times police are at the mercy of the court system, and that oftentimes they are tasked with being mental health officers when that's not in their job description, nor is the training provided them so that they're equipped to handle some of the episodes that we're seeing people have as a result of the increase in drug use, particularly fentanyl. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, look, every aspect of what we have, when there's a problem, who do we call? We call the police. If there's a problem in a playground, you call the police. There's a problem in school, we call the police. There's a problem in your home, you call the police. And we're having to deal with all of these different aspects. And you're right, it is a very difficult job, and it's a human element involved, and that human element always is going to be unpredictable. Law enforcement officers are asked to do some pretty profound things. We're ordinary people asked to do some extraordinary things at times. And it's a very difficult job. But I think the problem that we have across this country is we're not talking to each other, we're talking at each other. I think you're not going to find a single person in law enforcement who's not invested in trying to improve our criminal justice system as we move forward. We know that we all have work to do, but we have to do it together.
Do you think, and I know that we're running out of time, but do you think that there will ever be a discussion about how lethal force can be replaced with other means to detain criminals and those who are presumed to be criminals?
Well, I'm not sure I agree with the way it's phrased. The use of force is directly related, is proportionate to each one of these circumstances. So it's not a matter of detaining; it's a matter of the escalation that happens within that process. But look, I think all of this. I think you're right. I think as a society, we need to review ways and work collectively on how we're going to improve this criminal justice system, and it starts with working together. For a long period of time, for a couple of years, law enforcement was excluded from these discussions. And in law enforcement, who knows policing better in America than America's police officers? So I think we have a lot to offer. And I think when we sit down and work together, we can find solutions to real problems. That is what has been missing for a while.
Yeah, well, there's no easy answers, but you do mention that communication is key. And who doesn't want more of that? Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And again, thank you for your service, sir.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate it. Please thank a police officer. This week is very important to us. There are literally thousands of families and law enforcement officers and families of law enforcement officers who have passed that are in Washington to be honored. And this is a week to remember their sacrifice.
And it's very simple to do. Just you see somebody in uniform and say thank you for your service. It's very
absolutely.
It makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eternally grateful for the men and women in blue. And still ahead this